Hey there, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to the video, and sorry about the hesitation because I had to make sure, real quick, like, this is the second time recording this because with this camcorder, now I have to record the audio over here with Audacity and the video with the camcorder. I had the audio recording, but I did not have the video recording, so it was just me. You hear my voice, but there's no image. So now I'm doing this again. So I'm like, please be recording now. But anyway, this is a paid request from Efree, dear friend of mine. Thank you so much for that, man. And for those interested in requesting any type of videos, topics, reactions, commenters, what have you, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. And he wanted me to do another versus topic, and this time it's Virtuosity versus Demolition Man. Some people may go, well, why these two films? And I can see why Efree did that, because they're both 90s sci-fi films with a great hero and a great villain, and they're both films about a cop who something goes wrong and you feel bad for them and they're put into prison. Meanwhile, a villain of theirs is released out into the world, and then they're brought out of prison, out of isolation, to go out and chase this villain down. And the villain is very eccentric and over the top and fun. And the idea is a 90s sci-fi popcorn entertainment for both of these. And I enjoy both of these films. I mean, Demolition Man I've taught many times before, and I'll talk many times in the future because I love it. It's one of my favorite 90s films, one of my favorite 90s sci-fi films, one of my favorite Stallone films. Virtuosity, I think, is an underrated movie. Denzel Washington, Russell Crowe is actually my favorite Denzel movie, where you have Russell Crowe as this virtual reality simulation Sid that's used to train prisoners and also supposed to train police officers. But again, one thing leads to another, he gets released into the real world. His simulation character has the personality quirks of a bunch of serial killers, including the guy who killed Denzel's wife and kid. So because of that, and because he was one of the people who was an opponent in these VR sessions, Denzel was let out to go and chase down Russell Crowe's character. Now, this isn't a review of either film. I would say definitely if you haven't seen these, check them out. If you like popcorn entertainment fun, when movies used to be fun movies. Of this versus, I would say, long story short, I'd give it to Demolition Man. I like Virtuosity. If you're asking me which is the more underrated film, I would say Virtuosity. Because at least Demolition Man is getting a bit more love as it goes along, as it deserves. In fact, I think it deserves even more love. Virtuosity gets like a 5.5 on IMDb. It was very, very hated when it came out. It was a box office bomb. I think it really hurt Brett Leonard's career because he had The Lawnmower Man, and then he did this in Hideaway, and both of those films bombed. And he did some stuff, but not as much, especially not as high profile as these were. And from what I understand, Denzel, I think he did this because his son wanted him to do it. But you tell that Russell Crowe and Denzel don't look back on this fondly. But, I mean, like I said, it's my favorite film those two have done. And I like a lot more than that fucking American Gangster movie they did together. It's entertaining, it's cool, Denzel's got this robot arm because when he was saving his family, his arm got blown off, and he's shooting all these bad guys, and you feel bad for him because of what happened to his wife and kid. Russell Crowe has some fun lines because of all the personalities he has in his head, in his program, I should say. He says the line to Denzel, something to a tin of, just because I'm carrying the memories of killing your family doesn't mean we can't be friends. Hey Parker, this was for you. Denzel and Russell Crowe worked very well together. Russell Crowe was having a ball, having a lot of fun. Denzel, it's cool to see him as a badass. You have some good action set pieces like the car swerving and Denzel's just unloading with the shotgun. But Demolition Man, I like Denzel a lot as an actor. but I'm a Stallone fan. I gotta go with Stallone. I liked Russell Crowe. It's my favorite performance of his, but I just love Wesley Snipes this time in Phoenix, and I gotta go with him. Now, with Virtuosity, let's go through the areas. Soundtrack. I don't remember the score to Virtuosity. I'd have to rewatch the film to refamiliarize myself with it. I do think that the score in Demolition Man I liked. I know Efree said it reminded me a bit of Batman Forever. I liked it more than the score in Batman Forever. I think it worked for the type of future it's portraying. I also like the sort of choir type of music when Stallone is running from the explosion at the end. Like the score at the beginning of the film when it showcases Stallone when the movie first begins. I like that music a lot. And then at the end when Stallone's running from the explosion, it is sort of a choir type. I don't know how else to word it. I do like that by Elliot Goldenthal, who did the music. I still think his best piece of music is Alien 3. I hate the movie, but I really like the music. This, I do like the music, and I would say I like it a bit more than the score in Batman Forever. Or Batman and Robin, which Elliot Goldenthal did those as well. I would say, well, I do like the Steam song at the end of Demolition Man. I do say I like the songs more in Virtuosity. Whether it be the end credits Party Man by Peter Gabriel, I like that song. I liked, was it Tori Amos? I forget her name. There's a piece of music that's like... It happens when Denzel swerves the car and unloads the shotgun. That's a cool piece of music. Now, again, when I looked at it, I liked Denzel Washington, but I like Sylvester Stallone more because I'm a big Stallone fan. Grew up with him since I was a kid. It was great to see him in this and Cliffhanger. Such a great 1-2 punch in the 90s. And while I do like Russell Crowe, Simon Pegg just having a ball with Yoo-hoo! And like the eyeball, yeah, you too. Or I'll be goddamned. And it's the way he looks, and I love it. Jeffrey Dahmer, I love that guy. I do think that Demolition Man is a bit of a smarter script, and that's because of his satire. That sadly got a lot of things quite right. Because you look at the way the future, the heavy PC police, getting citations because you're cursing. Which, hell, YouTube kind of doesn't like it when you curse. So that's just a few steps short of what the hell will happen in the future. People in their safe spaces and safety bubbles. And how we're so much in love with nostalgia. Remember in Demolition Man, Sandra Bullock loving the 90s and having posters of Lethal Weapon 3 and them listening to the old commercials. And what we are now? Love of nostalgia and the past. Just like they're in love with, commercials, listening on the radio. We're in love with seeing all this old stuff come back in our movies and TV shows and more. And how people act. I mean, the people act in that future probably like a lot of people in fucking Hollywood and act. And just out of their depth. Not a lot of common sense. And I do think it's a funnier movie. Which, yeah, Russell Crowe has a lot of fun as Sid. But I do think it's a funnier movie, Demolition Man. From Stallone, talk all sorts of shit. You dot fucking pain in the ass. Yeah, so much for the 3 seashells. Or Stallone, you're on TV, and hitting Wesley Snipes. Or the bits with Sandra Bullock. You really lit his ass. No, tit his ass. You match his beat. No, met his match. Dennis Leary and his like rapid fire monologues of what he wants to do with being naked with Jello and all that. Like, I do think it's a funnier movie. I think the script is a bit smarter and wittier and more satiric. I also do think the battles, while I do like the set pieces in Virtuosity, like the bit when Denzel's running and he's blocking the bullets with his robotic arm and some stuff. It just felt like there was more action in Demolition Man. I mean, it begins with a bang with that Stallone shooting people, beating the shit out of people, and then Simon Phoenix running in that amazing, real, practical explosion. That's a hell of a way to start your movie. Stallone rappelling down, like that's a cool. Again, that's another reason I think Demolition Man, but I'll just call it Demo for short, has a better beginning and ending because it begins with a bang with just, like I said, the rappel, shooting, blowing, all that stuff. And the ending, I love the ending of Demolition Man with two guns ablazing to avoiding that weird electrical thing that Wesley's trying to fry Stallone's ass with, to being grabbed by that big crane and breaking it. I'll be goddamn. And then going on to that big ice cube thing coming down. And then, is it cold in here? It's just me. Good memory. And they're both fighting back and forth. Which I heard that scene was even longer, but sadly some stuff was cut out, which sucks. And I wish we could see that footage. I wish we could see the footage with Stallone versus Jesse Ventura. Where the fuck is that footage? Fucking Warner Brothers, that's what. While the ending of Virtuosity I don't mind, but there was always some nitpicks I had with it. Spoilers for those who haven't seen it. Because they're up so high and they have to be so careful, they can't be as dynamic with the movements and the fights. And also, they're not normally action guys. Like Wesley Snipes is a martial artist, Stallone with all the Rocky Rambo films experience. So the fights look a bit better, in my opinion, in Demolition Man compared to Virtuosity. And because they're up so high in the Virtuosity movie, they can only do so much. Now, don't get me wrong, I like moments like grabbing and swinging, going through the glass, and Denzel punching a hole through the back of Russell Crowe's head. That's cool. But I was a bit iffy on afterward, because the whole thing is this kid is missing, and they have to find out where this kid is. So they made Sid believe that he's in real life, but he's really in this simulation. And they're doing that to just find information of where this kid's at. And that's where the effects in Virtuosity is a bit dated. You don't have as much dated effects in Demolition Man. Instead, you have cool stuff like Stallone can't get the car in control. You Mickey Mouse piece of shit! And that's because in Virtuosity you have Brett Leonard, who did The Lawnmower Man, who did Hideaway with Jeff Goldblum. He was very much into that VR stuff, and I can enjoy it in a nostalgia way, and it's a movie of its time. If that same shit was in a 2022 movie, I'd be more pissy about it. I'm not pissy about it in the 1995 movie. I'm just saying it is a bit dated, and it doesn't look that great. Like, it's charming in the nostalgia front for me, and I could deal with it, and I still really enjoy the movie, but it's not the best looking. It's like, I love Mortal Kombat from 1995, but can I really sit here and tell you that the reptile CG creature looks good? Fucking no. But I still love the 95 Mortal Kombat movie. Also with the kid, an idea why they're doing it, because Denzel's family was killed because of a bomb. This is retribution to save this kid with the bomb. But the fact that it's not the final moments is not him and Russell Crowe battling out. Instead, it's this thing. And then this weird thing with the bomb that I always thought was kind of a cheap trick, where he does this thing and makes it seem like he lost, but then it reboots and goes back to the end the countdown. Like, why would that happen? That the things count down to 1, but then it goes back and it repeats. I'm like, why would it do that? I'm like, that's either very lucky and only the type of luck you get in a movie. It's kind of that thing like in a movie where someone has a bullet and the bad guy has the good guy, but it misfires, or oh, it's empty. Oh, how lucky for the good guy for that to happen to, that he didn't get shot. Like, you don't have that luck in real life. You only have that luck in movies. Like, the bad guy gets a gun. Oh, it just happens to be empty. It's like, it doesn't ruin the film for me, but it's just like, same with this bomb. It's like, oh well, thank God he picked the right one. Same with the bombs. Is it the red wire or is it the green wire? And oh, I'm glad I picked the right one because it's a movie. But like I said, it doesn't ruin the movie for me, but it's just like, it's kind of like kind of rolling of the eyes thing for me. I don't get that in Demolition Man. And then Demolition Man, I would say, while I don't mind some of the supporting cast in Virtuosity, I don't mind them. Like the girl who's like the scientist, the doctor that's with Denzel is fine. Some of the cops are fine. They're fine. On the flip side, Demolition Man, you got Sandra Bullock. And I'm a huge Sandra Bullock fan. I'll take her over the girl in Virtuosity. You got, was it Nigel Hawthorne, I believe, as Kato? You got Dennis Leary. You got the guy from Beetlejuice. Ortho, was he in Beetlejuice? I forgot the actor's name. I think Sally's passed away. But you had that guy. You look like a rug. A rug? Even Rob Schneider wasn't that terrible. And that's... a movie does wonders to not make Rob Schneider terrible. You know, I even like the guy with Zachary Lamb. Damn, you're a good damn pilot. Benjamin Bratt, for what he had to play, worked well. And what, like I said, the supporting cast stands out more. And I say Sandra Bullock is my favorite actress, just like Sylvester Stallone is my favorite actor, and they're both in the same movie. So that really comes to play for me for Demolition Man. Again, I think it has a bit better, more action set pieces, has a bit more satisfying ending. But I do think like Virtuosity is a more underrated film, but I do think Demolition Man is the better film. But that's just me. So with that said, thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys later.